How you doing?
Yeah, so they
Pleasure.
came out with a
Nice to meet
temporary
you. You
number.
too.
I think you know everybody else.
Yes, Regina.
you.
Oh, nice to see you. You too.
Well, sit down, make yourself comfortable. Catch us up on what you've been doing since we last saw you.
Well, thank you. The last time you saw me, I was really in preparation for some trials. In December, I had a trial where my client was charged with trafficking, and it was one of those cases where on the face it looked like it was not promising. And so we did everything we did to prepare for the trials, and the trial lasted about 3 days. Jury selection with witnesses as well, and deliberating lasted 5 hours. That's the longest deliberation I've ever had in my almost 13 years of practicing, and I was a little nervous, but the jury came back with not guilty on one of the major charge because my client was looking at a 15-year mandatory minimum sentence, and he's never been in prison before. Also, I'm still continuing writing for the magazine, and I'm involved with Rotary, with my Rotary Club here in Flagler. As a matter of fact, yesterday they've nominated me, and I was confirmed to be the secretary for the Rotary Club here. And I have to brag on this, but one of my mentees texted me yesterday and told me that she means a lot to me because I've known her since they were children. She was accepted to Mercy College in New York, so I was very excited about that. So I see something I'm doing is paying off.
Well done, congratulations.
Thank you.
Anybody? Regina, I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead.
So Regina, we've sent you up in the past, and you saw the list we sent up last time, and a lot of those folks are on the list again this time. Tell us why you should be on that slate of 6 that we sent to the governor versus the people that were sent up last time.
Yes. I understand that your process and the purpose, you're the eyes and the ears of the governor. And your job is to pick people who you believe that are real, well-rounded representatives here at the 7th Circuit. And I believe I'm one of those 6 that's a representative of this circuit. Not only have I lived here as a resident in Daytona Beach pretty much all my life, on and off, but I look at the fact that I bring to the table the work ethic. I work hard, but I work smart. Also, I bring a level of common sense to the bench as well if I'm chosen. The reason why I'm saying that is because a judge not only is a public servant, and they serve the interests of the people, but they also are an administrator of the judicial system to make sure everything works well. And so I have been in leadership positions. I know how it feels to be in a position of authority. I've been president of Beta Club in high school, president of dormitory when I was at the University of Florida. I also was president of moot court, where I was nominated after 2 years of serving on the E-board, where I actually simultaneously chaired 2 committees at the same time, one legal research and the other our intramural competition committee. So I understand the need of leadership, and that I bring that to the table as well, and also have a serious, dedicated desire to serve. And that's been something that's been a common denominator in my life since I was a child growing up in church, my father being a pastor, and he made us the young people all ushers, and you learn to serve. Basically, you're the policeman of the congregation. You make sure there's peace and there's order going on. So at 8 years old, you have to go up to an adult and go, shh, and be quiet in the middle of a service, but because there is a decorum that you have to have. And I believe the judge has to have that as well to be able to set the tone in the courtroom, to set the tone with the parties as well as the attorneys, and more so to project the persona that you're not there for you, but you're there for them. And I know that the governor is looking for someone who is humble and someone who will follow the law. And my track record shown I've been in situations where humility is necessary. I went up once before, and there's this perception that you get on once, you get on again. Well, that didn't happen for me. And so what that did, that taught me that nothing is entitled. You have to work for it. You have to go through the process. And it's a purging as well as a conditioning. And so going through this process has taught me that I have to look at myself a little bit more clearly, maybe make myself a little bit more knowledgeable and open about what I do and what I've done, but more so that I know that I have what it takes to be the best judge that there is. Because I've had plenty of mentors, I've seen a lot of mistakes done, I've made some mistakes too, but my whole goal is to serve and to make sure the people in front of me do the same.
I have gotten really into some of these, like Making a Murder and serial podcasts and things that are critical of the criminal justice system.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if you are seeing those sort of popular culture attacks on the criminal justice system and how that might affect your work as a public defender, how the public perception of the public defenders and defense attorneys may be changing, or has it stayed the same over your career?
It fluctuates. It depends, because like you say, we have all these shows out, and to be honest with you, I don't watch any of them. I didn't watch LA Law before, and How to Get Away with Murder, and all these other, even Court TV. I remember my mother was watching the trials with Casey Anthony, and she would tell me a lot of stuff, and I said, Mom, that's what I do for a living. I know what the judge did. I know what they're doing. But in her eyes, it was all just so glorified. I said, Mom, this is not glorified. You don't see what goes on behind the scenes. There's so much work, there's so much stress, and there's so much burden on you to be able to do your best for your client, even when you find yourself behind the 8 ball. And as an assistant public defender, we do a public interest, but it's not considered that because we, unfortunately, down in the past, there have been some people who have given us a bad name. You're a public pretender, as they say. I get that. You're not a real attorney. I get that. You working for the state. You don't care about me. I get that. But what it does is it just teaches me that I'll have to be patient with them because they don't understand. Clients don't understand. They come from certain experiences, but they don't have much trust in the system. So I have to establish that trust with them. So there is a level of competition, you may say, because juries come in, they've seen all these cases and trials, and they have an idea of how these things work. But as for me, I endeavor just to do my best. To do my best for my client, to be real and honest with them, and let them know that I know what the other person did, but you judge me based on my merits and my standard. And I do my best for my clients. Sometimes they don't understand, but that's all right, because I've been doing this for 13 years. You do get burnt out. Sometimes you do feel like that maybe I'm not doing what I'm doing is not really making a difference. But when I talk to young people and I tell them how my experiences are, I hope that makes a difference. As a teen court judge, when I'm on the bench and I talk with them, I notice my words carry weight, and I love to tell them about my experiences so they would not go that route either. You can't save everybody. You just do what you can, and you do your best. And at the end of the day, you know that you did your best to uphold the integrity of the justice system by doing your job.
Regina, I'm new here, so, and we have never met.
Yes, sir.
And looking at your resume, you've got a whole list of things you like to do, hobbies, those kinds of things, community service, your work. What would best describe for me, out of those things, who you are?
I would say what best describes me is that I'm a person who cares. And growing up in a family where I was the baby of the family and I kind of had to do my own thing, and my brother was 8 years older than me, I've always been an odd bird. I never really could fit in. So I know how it is to be an oddball. I know how it is to be rejected. I know how it is to be overlooked. And I feel like I'm the champion of the underdog. And I feel that, I wish that somebody was there for me when I was going through. I was bullied in school, so unfortunately I got into a lot of fights. And I didn't want to fight. That made me angry, that made me upset. And so those experiences taught me that at some point you have to grow up. You can't fight everybody that don't like you. And therefore you have to be empathetic, not sympathetic, because sympathy means you just feel sorry for people. Empathy means you feel sorry and then you move to do something for them, showing compassion. And that's where I am. that's what my track record has been. I'm always looking out for the ones that don't have that. You know, our group of kids that I consider myself their adopted aunt or their adopted big sister. And I look after them because I say, I wish somebody had came and got me when I was a kid and took me places and took me somewhere different, and it wouldn't be so boring at home. And I just love to see their eyes light up because I just look at them and I think of me. And so I'm a person that just genuinely, I care. I care to tell you the truth. I care to work with you. And I care to see the best for you. And that's why I like doing mentoring with young people, because they need that. So I'm just a person that cares.
Regina, thanks.
Thank you.
You know our process. We'll call you this afternoon.
Yes, thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it. And thank you for accommodating me by being here.
It's all
I have to
hot
do is go upstairs.